Alright, peeps, let's look at absolute value inequalities today. So yesterday we talked about absolute value equations. Today will be inequalities. Alright, so looking at two cases, right? We've got absolute value of x is greater than or equal to 7. Case number 1, we're talking about greater than or equal to. Okay, so the same respect that we did yesterday, let's treat this like an equal sign and let's set up our two cases. So we have x is greater than or equal to 7. Okay, but we also have another case in which x is less than or equal to negative 7. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that number, switch it, and take that sign and switch it. So the first case is exactly like it is. Second case, you're going to take it, switch it, switch it. So to graph that, we've got x is greater than 7. Sorry, greater than or equal to. There is your line going that way. Okay, we also have x is less than or equal to negative 7. There's your point. Those are both colored in. Okay, so this is an OR because it is not touching, right? So interval notation, we've got negative infinity is going to go to negative 7. It's touching at negative 7. That's union with 7 is going to go to positive infinity. Okay, so if it's included there, we're going to put a bracket. You cannot include infinity. Infinity is not really a number. Let's go to case number 2. Case number 2 is less than or equal to. All right, so the same respect, we're going to take the absolute value of x is less than or equal to 4. We're going to set up our other case, which is x, switch your sign, make your number negative. So let's again plot these two. X is less than or equal to 4. Here's 4. It's going this way. X is greater than or equal to negative 4. Here's negative 4 going this way. This is an AND. So all those points in between negative 4 and 4 are included. How does that look in interval notation? Negative 4 is the lowest point on the graph, all the way to positive 4. Both of those are included. What does it mean? It means absolute value inequalities are, you guessed it, compound inequalities. So my absolute value inequalities are compound inequalities. So we need to set up our two cases. Alright, so the steps to solve, we're going to isolate the absolute value expression. We're going to create our two cases. Okay, and again, it's called the KISS method, right? So we're going to keep it. We're going to switch the sign, switch the number. So keep it, switch, switch to create your second case. Solve both inequalities and then graph. Okay, so when we're graphing, we're either going to have an AND or graph. We're going to write that in interval notation. So looking at number 1, I have my absolute value isolated. Step number 1's done. We're going to set up our two cases. So we've got x plus 6 is greater than 7. And we have x plus 6, keep it, switch the sign, is less than, switch the number, negative 7. Solve for x, so we're going to subtract 6 on both sides. You have x is greater than 1. Same thing here, subtract 6 on both sides. X is less than negative 13. Now, both of these are not equal to, so they're both open circles. So here is negative 13. X is less than that. Here's positive 1. X is greater than that. So we know that we have an OR inequality. How do I write that in interval notation? So it starts, the inequality starts at negative infinity. It ends at negative 13. And again, it does not touch. So we're going to have a parentheses on both. Union with starts at positive 1 again, and it goes to positive infinity. Again, does not touch. It's not equal to. Let's do number 4. Alright, so I already have my absolute value isolated for. Step number 1's done. Create your two cases. 7 minus 4n is less than or equal to 27. Second case, keep the absolute value. So 7 minus 4n. Switch the sign, so we're going to make it greater than or equal to. And then switch the number, negative 27. Solve for x, we're going to subtract 7 on both sides. Negative 4n is less than or equal to positive 20. Same thing, subtract 7 on both sides. You got negative 4n is greater than or equal to negative 34. Now, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Alarm should be going off in your head because this is an inequality. Anytime we multiply or divide by a negative with an inequality, we must flip the inequality sign. So this becomes greater than or equal to negative 5. Same thing here. I'm going to divide by a negative 4. Ding, 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 ding. N is less than or equal to 8.5. Okay, so again, anytime we multiply or divide by a negative, we must flip that inequality symbol. Alright, so let's graph these. So we've got positive 8.5, and it's less than 8.5. It's equal to, it's a closed circle. We're going this way. Okay, we're also greater than negative 5, so let's plot negative 5. Bam. We're greater than, we're going this way. Ooh, let's meet in the middle. This is an and inequality. Let's write it in interval notation. So it's included right here at negative 5. Bracket that sucker. It stops at 8.5, and it's included at 8.5. Bracket that sucker. Let's turn our paper over. Let's do some examples on the back. Number 5, let's get rid of our fraction. We need to isolate for the absolute value. So get rid of a divided by 4 by multiplying by 4 on both sides. We've got q minus 1 equals 8. Sorry, not equals. Is greater than or equal to 8. So again, let's set up our two cases. We've got q minus 1. Jesus Louise. Q minus 1 is greater than or equal to 8. We've also got q minus 1 is less than or equal to negative 8. Solve for q, so we're going to add 1 to both sides. Q is greater than or equal to 9. Add 1 to both sides. Q is less than or equal to negative 7. So this was going to be an OR inequality. So q is greater than or equal to 9. Here's 9. It's equal to, so it's a closed circle. Bam, there it is. Q is less than or equal to negative 7. Here's negative 7. Bop, there it is. OR inequality. So how do I write that in interval notation? It starts at negative infinity. It stops at negative 7. Bracket, union. It restarts here at positive 9. It's included, and it goes all the way to infinity. All right, let's look at number 9. Number 9, let's isolate the absolute value. So let's get rid of my 7. 6 absolute value of negative 5n is greater than 30. Again, we're still trying to isolate for the absolute value, so divide by 6. Absolute value of negative 5n is greater than 5. Now we're ready to set up our two cases, right? So negative 5n is greater than 5. We also have our second case, negative 5n is less than negative 5. So let's solve for n. Again, we're dividing by a negative. Alert, alert, alert. We have n is less than negative 1. We also divided by a negative over here, so we have n is greater than positive 1. We know that we have an OR inequality. None of these are equal to, so they're both going to be open circles. Find your point at positive 1. It's going that way. Find your point at negative 1. It's going that way. There's your graph. To write it in interval notation, negative infinity to negative 1, both parentheses, union with 1 to positive infinity, and beyond. Last one, let's do number 12. I'm feeling nice today. Number 12, isolate for the absolute value, so add 9 to both sides. You get 84. Over here, you got 4 times 9 minus 3n. Bop. Is less than. Next step, divide by 4. Absolute value of 9 minus 3n is less than 21. So we have them isolated. Let's set up our two cases. Drop the absolute value, write it as it is, drop the absolute value, and switch, and switch. Solve for n. Okay, so we're going to subtract 9 on both sides. We've got negative 3n is less than 12. We've also got negative 3n is greater than negative 30. So divide by negative 3, alert, alert, alert. Switch the sign. So we now have less than positive 10. Okay, over here we're going to divide by negative 3 also, and we have n is greater than negative 4. So this is going to be an AND inequality, because they're going to meet in the middle. Negative 4, there it is, open circle. Positive 10, there it is, open circle. Okay, this is going that way. This is going that way. So they're meeting in the middle. Interval notation, it starts at -4. It ends at +10. Both of those are not included. Yay!